Hi, my name is Erica. Today I'm going to be telling you about books that I plan to read in 2026. Okay, so previously with these videos, I used to do this as like 21 releases in 2021, 22 releases, 20, and so on. That can be very draining because I don't always keep up with everything that's coming out. Like honestly, sometimes books come out and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this was coming out this year. Unless it's something I'm like really looking forward to, like obviously The Dark Mirror, I was very excited to read when that released last year. Things like that I know I'm like anticipating. Other times when books just pop up, I do my best to try to keep up, but Those videos are also a lot to prep because it's a lot of descriptions. Obviously, when I thought of doing 26 releases in 2026, that just sounded overwhelming. So we're keeping it a little bit more simple this year. I'm going to be doing 10 books total. 5 of those books are being released in 2026, and then 5 of those other books are books that I have on my TBR or books that I just kind of want to get back to in 2026. So let's just get right into it. For those who don't like staying for an entire video, we're going to be doing the first 5 books that are being released in 2026 that I hope to read this coming year. So the first one we have is called Margin of Error by Rachel Lacey. This book comes out on February 3rd. Rachel Lacey also wrote A View from the Top along with Learning Curves. I read A View from the Top, I think like in 2024, and I really enjoyed it. I've not yet read Learning Curves, but it is on my TBR. Probably another one that's going to be a 2026 read. Margin of Error follows 2 different characters. First, we're following Marin. So it's been 2 years since Marin almost died in a really bad accident. Sorry, someone is making so much racket right now of all the times while I'm trying to film. So Marin was in a really bad accident about 2 years ago, and she wants to take advantage of this second chance at life that she has. So she's left her husband, left her home, left her job, just is starting over with her life. Now she's teaching at a university, and she decides that she wants to start doing something she's very scared of, which is dating women. And it just so happens that she encounters the woman that she saw on the morning of her big accident that she's been fantasizing about ever since. So I don't know how that happens. And then we're also following Charlotte, which I'm guessing is this woman. So Charlotte has also made some really big changes since the day of that accident. She moved back to her hometown in Vermont, and she is actually trying to solve this mystery of her mother's disappearance. It's been like 30 years since her mom disappeared, and so she wants to figure that out and see what's going on. And she does not anticipate while she's there that she's going to be running into this woman, Marin, and that she's going to be questioning her sexuality, and that their friendship is going to start getting a lot deeper than she anticipated. So this story follows them as their paths intertwine and they start to question things and fall for each other. I thought it looked really cute. I actually added it to my TBR at the end of December, thinking it was like coming out in December, but no, we still have a little bit longer, so I am looking forward to that one. It sounds very cute, very romantic. Again, I did really love A View from the Top by this author, so I am looking forward to this one. Alright, the next book on this list coming out in 2026 is actually one that just came out. And as I was reading the description, I kind of realized I probably won't get to it this year. So that is The Last King of Faerie by Cassandra Clare. That already came out on January 1st. This is the first book in the new Wicked Power series. This is supposed to be the very last Shadowhunter trilogy ever. Like, there are so many books in this world. And I would absolutely love to do an entire reread of all of the books, but that would be like an entire year of dedication. Because there are so many books, I feel like that would just like fulfill the reading challenge. There are so many. But when I was reading the description, I was like, I don't know if I really am looking forward to this like I thought I would be. Plus I also want to actually like read all of the other books back in the world. I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. I still need to get back to Chain of Gold, Chain of Iron, and Chain of Thorns. I have not even read those yet, so that should also be on this list. But anyway, The Last King of Faerie follows some of the kids from The Dark Artifices, which The Dark Artifices, that was probably the worst trilogy in the Shadowhunter universe in my opinion. But we're following Kit, Ty, and Drew, and they are like pulled into this last huge conflict between demons and angels. That is most of the description that I got, but it's gonna have a lot of the old characters, of course, in it, and the list goes on and on. I mean, I have definitely got to do a reread before I dive into this, which I remember the important characters, but I don't really remember like everything else. There's just so much in this series. But anyway, that's another one that I might get to in 2026. But probably not. Alright, another book we are looking forward to in 2026 is Deadbeat by Leigh Bardugo. This is the third book in the Alex Stern trilogy or series. I don't know what it's gonna be. This book comes out in September. I didn't see like an actual date yet, but stay tuned. There's also like no description because obviously spoilery. I was not a huge fan of the second book in this series. Like the first book, Ninth House, incredible. So Ninth House follows Alex Stern, her real name's Galaxy, crazy. So she dropped out of high school and got into this really rough gang of people, like dealing with drugs, and had some really bad boyfriends and things like that. And she just did not have a good time. But she also is the sole survivor of a horrible, like a really bad, unsolved, multiple homicide case. While she's in the hospital, she is offered this second chance at life. She's offered an opportunity to go to Yale University on a full ride as long as she helps maintain their secret societies. So there are these like secret societies at Yale that deal with like dark occult things, and Alex obviously gets involved, and we have this character named Darlington. Is that his name? It's been a minute, but he is actually missing in this first part, and so she gets dragged into all of this and kind of has to get more involved in what she bargained for. I'm not doing it justice. I actually really love Ninth House. I'm not really big on like dark academia, but this one was really good. And the second book to me was just didn't hit the same as the first one, but it's still really good, and I am looking forward to Hellbent. The next book I have on my list is The Red Winter by Cameron Sullivan. This book comes out February 24th. This book takes place in 1785. We're following Professor Sebastian Grave, who receives word that this horrible beast, the beast of, I'm not going to pronounce it right, the beast of Gévaudan, I don't know, I'm not French, I need to look it up. But this beast has returned and has like killed a bunch of people on the French countryside. So 20 years ago, Sebastian was actually a part of the hunt to try to capture this beast and kill it, obviously. This involvement almost cost him his life. And so now the guy Antoine calls him back to rejoin the hunt. So Sebastian has to go back and reconcile with his lost love, who is Antoine, and he hopes to actually kill this beast so that it can stop ravaging France. That is all I have about this description. I just saw this book and I thought the cover looked really pretty. You know, I really want to put covers with me in this video, but my new editing software is being a pain and not letting me, so I hope we can figure it out one day. But the cover looked really pretty and the description just sounded really cool, and it already kind of has some like good hype around it, so this one I just added to the list just because I wanted something new that wasn't a part of a series, and it just looked really cool. And finally, last one that I'm excited for coming out in 2026 is Nowhere Bernie by Catriona Ward, also coming out on February 24th. In the middle of the night, Riley and her little brother Oliver escape and they flee to get to this abandoned ranch that belonged to this actor. The actor was using it as a way to hide himself from fame, but also to hide his crimes. There was a huge fire there, and it revealed that he was a horrible murderer. Riley plans to go there and start a new family with these feral children who have been living there since it's been abandoned, and apparently it doesn't really go well. So the children are all very fierce and diabolical and want to just claim this area for themselves, so Riley struggles to fit in and get involved in this, I guess, community of these abandoned children. There's a darkness still lingering at Nowhere, which is the ranch. I have no idea what to expect with this book, but everything Catriona Ward writes is incredible. It's always dark, twisty, weird, and amazing. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Those are the 5 books that are coming out in 2026 that I hope to read this year. And now we're gonna get to 5 books / series that I plan to read that have been on my TBR or that I just really want to get to again. The first one on this list is Empire of the Dawn by Kristoff. This book actually came out last year and it's a part of a trilogy. It's the last one in the Empire of the Vampire trilogy. Okay, so I definitely plan to reread Empire of the Vampire, Empire of the Damned, and then Empire of the Dawn. So we're gonna chat about Empire of the Vampire. If you've never read this series, it's pretty good. So for almost 30 years, vampires have been taking over this world. They've waged war and there's no sunlight to stop them. So the sun has not risen in like these 30 years, which is crazy. During that time, they've been able to build their empire because obviously they succeed in the darkness. We're following the character of Gabriel, who was a silver saint, who is a member of this like holy brotherhood, who is in charge of obviously trying to defeat these vampires and protect their church. Because of all the darkness, the silver saints all died out except for him. So now he's been captured by these vampires and he's forced to tell his story of how he got to where he was and all of that. So it's a lot about, obviously we're going to the present when he's chit-chatting with this other little vampire kid, and then through his whole journey of how he got there. Okay, the series is a little bit problematic. I've chatted about it before, just with like some age things going on. The vampires in the books are actually like pretty scary, pretty intense. They're not like sparkling and stuff. They actually are pretty terrifying, which I love about it. And the story has a lot of really sad moments. So I'm really looking forward to finally reading Empire of the Dawn. I did really enjoy this series so far, and I'm looking forward to getting to it finally. The next set of books I have on this list is the Fablehaven series by Brandon Mull. And there is a movie that's supposed to be coming out, I think next year. But I've loved the Fablehaven series for years, like since I was in middle school. It's a middle grade series. It's so much fun, so adventurous. Fablehaven follows these two kids, Kendra and Seth, who get sent to their grandparents' house for the summer. And these are their grandparents that they're not really that close to. They think that they're going to be bored and miserable the whole time. But then they find out that their grandfather is actually the caretaker for this mythical like world that's in their backyard, basically, called Fablehaven. So it's literally just like a bunch of mythical creatures who live there, and they get this access to run the area. And of course, with that comes a lot of responsibility in taking care of things, but also not doing things they're not supposed to. Obviously, as children, they get involved in a lot of things. And I'm not doing a great job describing it, but it's such a fun middle grade series. One of my favorites of all time. I've been in the mood to reread it, so I'm hoping to get to that this year. I'm trying to find the original covers of the books, and I'm so sad I never bought them when I actually was reading them as a kid. So I really just want to get to it because the old covers to me are way prettier than the new ones. So I'm hoping to find them at like a thrift store or something. But I'm really hoping to get to those books because they're pretty short, they move quickly, but they're also really fun. There's a lot of adventure. I love the little critters that are in it. I just think it's such a cool world. Next up on my list is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon, which you can see here on my shelf. So Among the Burning Flowers is actually the book right before Priory of the Orange Tree, so I have them out of order on my shelf because that's how it fit in. But we have Day of Fallen Night, Among the Burning Flowers, and then Priory of the Orange Tree. And I did not read Among the Burning Flowers last year because I was in such a horror thriller kick that I just didn't feel like it was going to fit in with what I was in the mood for. So this follows like hundreds of years after Day of Fallen Night. All these years have passed since the Draconic army took flight and tried to wipe out humankind. We're following the character of Marosa, who's become like a prison in her house because of her father, and she's betrothed to this guy named Albrecht who lives a little bit further away. He rules Mentenden. So they're hoping that when they get together that they can create a better world for everybody. Meanwhile, we're also following Estina, who hunts down worms like dragons. And Fairedale, the most intense dragon of all, is starting to come back to life, if that makes sense. I'm very excited. I love those books so very much. They mean the world to me. So I actually plan to reread A Day of Fallen Night and then Among the Burning Flowers and Priory because they're so good. They're long, but amazing. Alright, and next up on my list to read in 2026 is Project Hail Mary, which I'm actually currently reading. This book follows Ryland Grace, who is a teacher and scientist. He published this paper that a lot of people didn't agree with. It kind of kicked him out of the scientist community. But then it brings him back in because Earth and humanity are at stake. There is something growing on the sun that's causing it to lose its energy and its heat. And so that means within a few years, humanity is going to go extinct because it's going to cool down the earth so much that things are going to die and people won't be able to get food. It's going to be bad. So because of his paper, everyone is asking Grace if he can assist with all the science around what's going on. He's just kind of like, I'm just a teacher, why do you want me? But he actually is really smart and he can help them figure out what all of this is. So he discovers that it's this like live kind of like algae thing that he calls astrophage. So with astrophage, he does all these experiments to figure out how to reproduce them, and they decide that because astrophage has so much energy that they're going to use this to create this ship called Project Hail Mary that runs on astrophage and send them to the solar system where they find out that there is astrophage, but it's not killing the sun, like the star that is there. I'm not doing a good job describing it. It's a lot of science, you know, I haven't finished the book yet. But so he ends up on this mission called Project Hail Mary on this ship to a whole nother solar system, like super far away, so that he can figure out how to save Earth. And in the meantime, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but he comes across another alien species who is also trying to save their species from the exact same fate. So far, I'm kind of in a reading slump with it. It's like interesting, but it reminds me a lot of The Martian, which I really love, but the characters are so similar with their like witty dialogue, and it's like, oh man, like why does it feel like the exact same storyline kind of? Not really, obviously it's different, but it just feels like he wrote the same character, just like in a different way. But maybe not. It's been a minute since I've read The Martian. I feel like I'm letting other reviews influence me. The science part of it kind of goes over my head, but it is very interesting still, and I am looking forward to actually finishing the book because it's been on my TBR for a while. I started it last year, had no idea what was happening. I just wasn't in the mood to start it. The last one on my list that I hope to get to in 2026 is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. This book has been on my TBR for quite a while, but this book takes place in Russia and it is constantly snowing in this area. Like the snow gets really high, really crazy, but we're following this character named Vasilisa. She spends most of the evening with her family all cozy listening to her aunt tell fairy tales, but then her mom dies. And then her dad goes and marries some horrible person. Now her stepmother is not letting them do their normal like rituals for the spirits in their house. Vasilisa starts getting frightened because no one else realizes how important these rituals are. And so crops start dying. There's like a darkness lingering in the forest. The stepmom, meanwhile, is getting harsher and harsher. So Vasilisa has to defy her family in order to protect them. So she has to call on these dangerous gifts that she hasn't used in a very long time in order to stop what's going on and to protect her family. But those are all the books I hope to get to in 2026. Obviously, I plan to read more, but those are 10 books that I definitely hope to get to. I mean, I can see myself not doing it, but at least I have them in this video, so it'll hopefully motivate me to read them. That is all I have for you today. If you like this video, be sure to give it a nice little thumbs up. If you want to keep following me on this booktube journey, please subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Instagram at @ErikaAGobble. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye!